Hello everybody, I am Susan, I'm German, and I want to ask you a question. Are you ready for a story that real life has written? Yes! Okay, then let's get started. The other day I went around noon to a shopping mall, a shopping center. On the route there is a school. So it was noontime and it must have been the end of classes because I found myself in a crowd of students. So I was walking along, minding my own business, planning my shopping in my head, and all of a sudden I saw two school kids walking ahead of me, around 10 to 11 years old, and one of them was unpacking something from a foil or something to eat, and he very nonchalantly tossed this foil behind him on the street. And in this moment, something happened to me. My blood started boiling inside, and I was so annoyed by this little, not even teenage environmental offender that I could not help myself. So, and they were just walking along and I was walking behind them, and there was a little inner debate starting inside myself because I thought, shall I just go on, not intervene, just pretend nothing has happened, or shall I intervene? But if I intervene, that means intervening takes courage, and you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I must admit, I'm a person who doesn't like any kind of conflicts. I don't like arguing with persons. I don't like arguing. I don't like discussions. I would rather live in peace and harmony with all the world. Yes, peace. So I was still debating inside myself. There were two little creatures sitting on my shoulder. Angel here, devil there. Devil saying, hey, come on, don't waste your time and energy on these brats. Come on. You cannot change them anywhere. Anyway, they are just mean little kids. Mind your own business and go on. I said, yeah, I better do that. And then the angel on the other side on my shoulder said, no, you're upset. Your blood is boiling. Do something about it. Otherwise you will not go to rest for the rest of this day. I said, but the angel banged on my head, So I said, okay. And I shouted behind those two rascals and said, hey, you too! Of course, they pretended that they haven't heard anything. I'm just walking along, pretending I wasn't there. But this even fueled my inner anger and my anxiety and my bad mood. So I jogged past them, turned around, and stood in front of them, and said, hey, you tossed litter on the street. Pick that up, that's not okay, you have to pick it up. So those two boys, I would call them rascal number 1 and rascal number 2. Rascal number 1 looked at me with incomprehension and suspicion. He thought, and he immediately knew what it was all about and what I wanted him to do and what he was supposed to do. But of course he couldn't give in so quickly. No. He just he stared me right into the eyes and looked at me. Rascal number 2 would just step on the side, avoided any eye contact with me, and then for the rest of the scene only played a minor role. So, rascal number 1 was playing on time. And he just said, why? I said, because it's not okay to throw your litter on the street. I don't do that either. Nothing happened. Rascal number 1 looking at me in a very cool manner. So I said, okay. And the angel banged on my head and said, you have to go one step further. So I took a step toward rascal number 1, looked him straight into the eye, and just nodded, pointed to that trash on the street. I could hear the sigh of rascal number one, because in this moment he realized he wouldn't get rid of me so easily. But, of course, he could not make a display like he's obeying me, so he walked very slowly. And then he looked at the foil and he picked it up in slow motion. Okay. That was good for me. And I smiled at rascal number one. And then I just continued my way to the shopping center, and I heard the two rascals, speaking at each other in a low voice. And I think they really exchanged themselves what kind of weird creatures adults are.